Each day, more than 300 people are injured or killed by guns in the United States. That's according to Everytown for Gun Safety. It's an epidemic that comes with a price, not just to someone's life, but to our economy, too. Factfinder investigator Andy Piriotti breaks down the numbers.
A child celebration turned to chaos.
Guns, shooting. Massive gunfire.
The adult who the men were aiming for was surrounded by toddlers at a child's birthday party.
A bounce house full of children in 2017 outside of Atlanta, Georgia, caught in the crossfire.
And that's all I just remember yelling, the kids.
How many guns up this year? I can't count it. So many, too many.
2 children hit, including Adriana Douglas's daughter, Abria. She was 5 years old.
Get her to a hospital now. Whatever y'all do, get her to a hospital.
No time to wait for an ambulance. They jumped into a stranger's vehicle.
I said, start the car, go.
A medical helicopter rushed through to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. The outlook grim. Her grandmother, Harriet, sought a divine diagnosis.
I prayed to God that day, and I told God, I said, I don't ask for much, but if you let her stay, we will do any and everything possible to keep her happy.
Abria survived, but it came at a price. The bullet that hit her spine left her partially paralyzed. She's undergone at least 15 surgeries so far, including one this past February to install 8 screws from her neck down her back.
It sounds painful.
Yeah, it's still painful. Sometimes you touch it on her and she jumps. She'll let you know it hurt.
And like on one side of my back, on this side, when you like scratch it, it teleports to the other side, so you can feel it on both sides of your back.
The financial cost to the family, devastating.
It's fun though, right?
Thousands spent on robotic therapy, new vehicles to accommodate wheelchairs, and a special bed.
So this right here is a monitor for the bed.
Just a few of the costs of surviving a shooting.
You had to make my mom's bathroom bigger, had to get a renovation, a ramp added onto the house, open the bathroom bigger, the doors bigger. The upstairs bathroom has to get wider. You see, when you came down the steps, we go down the rocks.
I do this every day, morning and night.
And we go backwards on the side of the steps. We don't have a ramp to back here.
That's the route.
Friends set up GoFundMe pages, but it's far from enough.
It was many a days I was like trying to put a little bit together just to get one meal. So we learned how to make do with what we have and get by.
The estimated cost of a shooting of Abria so far, $500,000. Much of it paid by taxpayers through Medicaid. A price tag increasing for all of us as gun violence soars across the country.
A gunman with a 9mm shot 4 people dead.
Atlanta police responding to another deadly shooting.
After a triple shooting leads to the death of a 6-month-old baby.
Where a 13-year-old died as he picked up DoorDash delivery outside of his apartment building.
It's only a matter of time that this kind of tragedy comes knocking on your door.
The economic cost of gun violence to taxpayers each year, $12 billion. More than the annual budget for the state of Mississippi.
Why are we not talking more about this?
Sarah Burb-Sharps is the Senior Director of Research at Everytown for Gun Safety. She leads a team researching the financial toll of gun violence, testifying before Congress last year.
We place ourselves at a severe economic disadvantage in the global economy with these enormous outlays. Whether or not we own a gun or whether or not we are impacted by gun violence, we're all paying the cost. $34 million every day in the United States of taxpayer dollars.
The organization's cost estimate, conservative, because the total number of gun injuries is unknown. Even Georgia's Department of Health's website that tracks firearm ER visits notes it does not obtain data from all facilities where a patient may seek care, thus underestimating the occurrence of firearm-related injuries.
Why don't we know how many people are getting injured by gun violence?
One of the biggest reasons is because there's been a lot of attempts over the years to stop funding for gun violence research, to not collect this data, for political reasons. The political will has not been there to keep track of it.
Come on, Bria. All right. All right.
A little girl, part of a growing family touched by gun violence, and loved ones doing their best to support them during an epidemic with no end in sight.
It don't really just affect that person they shot. Well, no, you took the mama, the daddy, the sister, the kids. It took something out of everybody.
We also want to hear from you. Call our tip line or email our investigators. The contact info is there on your screens. We'll find answers to any of your questions on the next Factfinder Investigates.